What if the biggest thing ruining your life isn't your problems? What if it's the way you expect everything to go wrong before it even happens? Think about it. You send a message and instantly assume they're ignoring you. You make one small mistake and suddenly your brain says, "Yep, life's over." You try something new and your mind already imagines failure before you even begin. It's strange how our brains work. One tiny inconvenience happens and suddenly we're mentally preparing for disaster. But here's the truth. People who seem calm, confident, and lucky usually aren't living easier lives. They just move through life with one quiet belief. Somehow, things will work out. And that belief changes everything. Because when you act like everything will work out, you stop treating every small problem like the end of the world. You stop panicking. You stop overthinking every decision. And life becomes lighter. Not perfect, just lighter. Most people live as if disaster is waiting around every corner. They expect rejection. They assume people are judging them. They believe one mistake means failure. And when you expect life to go badly, your brain starts collecting proof. You notice every awkward moment, every delay, every tiny rejection, every small thing that confirms your fear. It's like your mind becomes a detective searching for reasons to panic. And once your brain believes something, it starts filtering reality to match it. That's exhausting. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine waking up and thinking, today might actually go okay. Not amazing, not perfect, just okay. You walk into conversations differently. You handle problems differently. You stop acting like every situation is a test you're about to fail. And here's something interesting. You become easier to be around because people can feel energy. When someone constantly expects the worst, they bring tension into every room. They over-explain. They apologize too much. They act nervous even when nothing bad is happening. But people who quietly trust life feel different. They don't rush. They don't panic over small things. They don't treat every delayed reply like a disaster. They simply believe, whatever happens, I'll handle it. That sentence alone can change your mindset. Because maybe confidence isn't believing nothing bad will happen. Maybe confidence is believing you can survive whatever does happen. Think about your life for a second. You've already survived things you once thought would destroy you. Bad days, embarrassing moments, heartbreak, stress, failure. At some point, you thought, there's no way I'll get through this. But you did. You're still here. Which means you already have proof that things work out more often than your fear admits. Not always the way you planned, but eventually. Sometimes life doesn't give you what you wanted. It gives you something that makes sense later. Think about moments you once called bad. The job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the opportunity you missed. At the time, it felt terrible. But later, you realized maybe it wasn't the disaster you thought. Sometimes rejection is just redirection wearing ugly clothes. Life has a funny way of making sense backward. You rarely understand things while they're happening. You understand them later. That's why constantly worrying about the future is strange. You're trying to solve chapters you haven't even read yet. We replay imaginary conversations. We prepare for disasters that may never happen. And while we're busy worrying, life keeps moving. The truth is, most things don't go as badly as we imagine. Our minds exaggerate. Fear predicts disasters. Trust predicts possibilities. We think people notice every flaw. We think one mistake defines us forever. But honestly, most people are too busy worrying about themselves. You're not the main character in everyone else's brain, and that's actually freeing. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to stop treating every small mistake like it's permanent. Because bad moments feel permanent when you're inside them, but they pass. Everything passes. That awkward week, that confusing phase, that period where nothing makes sense. Life keeps moving whether you panic or not. So maybe the better choice is to trust it a little. Not blindly, not foolishly, just enough to stop fighting every second of uncertainty. Because uncertainty isn't always danger.
Sometimes uncertainty is possibility. Something good could happen. Someone could enter your life. An opportunity could appear. You don't know. And that's the point. People act like uncertainty only means bad things, but uncertainty also means miracles you haven't seen yet. Maybe the thing you're stressing about works out. Maybe your future is better than your fear allows you to imagine. Maybe you've been carrying anxiety for problems that life already solved. That happens more than we realize. We spend days worrying, then the situation works itself out, and suddenly we think, I stressed for nothing. We've all done it. You panic before a conversation, then it goes fine. You overthink a situation, then nothing bad happens. Your brain deserves an award for creating fake emergencies. But here's the important part. You don't need to control everything to feel safe. You just need to trust yourself a little more. Trust that you'll figure things out. Trust that difficult moments don't last forever. Trust that not knowing everything isn't a weakness. Sometimes peace begins the moment you stop assuming life is against you. You don't need your whole life planned today. You don't need every answer right now. You just need enough trust to take the next step. Because life isn't built through giant leaps. It's built through tiny decisions. One conversation, one risk, one day where you decide not to overthink everything. And over time, those small moments create a completely different life. So the next time your brain asks, what if everything goes wrong? Ask yourself, what if everything works out? Not perfectly, not instantly, but eventually. Because most of the things you're afraid of haven't happened, and most of the things that did happen, you survived. That means you're stronger than your fear wants you to believe. Maybe life isn't trying to ruin you, maybe it's trying to teach you how to trust. Trust the process, trust your growth, trust that confusion doesn't last forever, and most importantly, act like everything will work out. Because when you stop expecting disaster, you finally give yourself permission to breathe.